My name is Zak Hilditch. I'm the writer-director of These Final Hours, and that's pretty much my story. I'm a filmmaker from Perth, Western Australia, and yeah, I've been chipping away at getting my first fully funded feature up for about a decade now, and to finally have finished the film and gotten it out there to the world, it's been a dream come true. So I started out at Curtin University, Bentley campus in Perth, Western Australia, and there I just met a bunch of like-minded people who just wanted to make things at university, but also afterwards. What were we going to do with ourselves? And we just kept making shorts and backyard features that were made for the smell of an oily rag. And between there and so that was about 2004 when I left that place. Between there and getting These Final Hours up, it was just about continuing to make really low budget things and sometimes going for funding through Screen West. And yeah, so sometimes you were able to pay people and sometimes you weren't, and it was just that sort of mix about trying to figure out and hone my craft, but just keeping as active as humanly possible. So These Final Hours ask the question, what would you do on the last day on Earth? And we follow one character's journey on his way to the party to end all parties in Perth, Western Australia. And along the way, saves the life of a little girl who's looking for her dad. And through deciding to help her, he reaches this big dilemma. Does he go and write himself off and forget everything? Or does he do one good thing with the last few hours he has on Earth? So that's basically the film in a nutshell. It's an apocalyptic thriller. Well, I think it was my probably morbid fascination with mortality, the sort of thing that keeps you up at night. And I was just thinking about these natural disasters and how they just take people out in an instant and then they're gone. And they didn't see it coming and they had no time to prepare. Well, I thought, what if you could reverse that? What if you could see the thing coming at you? You still couldn't stop it, but you could see it. It would give you time to take stock of everything going on in your life and ultimately ask yourself, what should I do with these precious few moments that I have? And who should I see? What should I do? Do I need to apologize to anyone? Do I need to make amends with a certain person? I think all those interesting dilemmas and questions, there's just so much richness there, and by just exploring one character's journey through that, it sort of gives the film a very, very personal, very, very visceral sort of feel. I could have chosen any character to explore on their last day, like a doctor or a school teacher, or this person or that person, but I decided to just choose a 30-year-old guy from the northern suburbs of Perth, who's supposed to be getting pissed with his mates and seeing his girlfriend, and he doesn't really know what the future, holds for him. And, there's definitely elements there that, in my life, like I wrote the film when I was, saying goodbye to my 20s and hello to my 30s, and you do start thinking about those sorts of things, like is there more than just getting pissed with my mates on the weekend, and, what am I doing with this, on this crazy journey? So, starting with that, like, I definitely wanted to, tell a semi-personal story, and the only way to really do that was to write what I knew, and that was a character like James. Like, I know people like James, and yeah, so there are elements of him that are a part of me, but also a lot of it you have to create and color in the blanks. The very first draft out of my system onto the page, and then I can start reflecting and thinking about what needs to happen next. And we were just lucky, myself and the producer of the film, Liz Carney, we were selected to the inaugural Springboard program that Screen Australia were running, and the whole point of that scheme was to develop a screenplay and also come up with short film ideas that might accompany your screenplay as like a calling card to help you get your film financed. So I went into that program, and that's when the script really went into another gear. I was able to just sort of really streamline the story I was trying to tell. And at the same time, the beautiful thing about this whole process was, while I was developing the script, I was coming up with short film ideas, ended up making a short film called Transmission, which is exactly how we discovered Angari Rice, ended up playing Rose in the feature film. So there was a lot of synergy there, and a lot of good things that came out of doing a short through that program, and then also helping me develop the feature, and also just making something that was the most ambitious sort of short I'd tackled, really put myself and Liz in good stead to tackle something like These Final Hours. Things sort of had a lot of momentum, so I'd say there were maybe five purposeful drafts, but that I would call actual drafts, not just little tweaks here and there, but big big game changing things that happen from one to the other, and that process probably took about 2 to 3 years. And by that point, we were then pretty happy with the script and went into the production. And then, once you get to the edit, you rewrite the film from scratch again anyway, many times over. What does keep you motivated? I mean, especially when it's your baby, when it's something you've written, by yourself, at your desk, it's just you and your laptop. That is a very personal thing. And, that is what gets you through, especially when you've written if you're making a film and you're the sole creator of the world and where it's all come from, that's the thing that motivates you all the way through the process, and then especially when you then get into the edit, you just don't want your film to suck. You'll then do anything to literally start again if you have to, and tell the story in a different way if that's going to be the best way to tell the story. When Liz gave me the call that the film was selected to Directors Fortnight in Cannes, that was it. I could have died just there, done. It was an amazing experience, and we didn't know what was going to happen when we got there, how the film was going to be received. But they just love their cinema over there so much, and you can just feel it on the street. Like, it's like going to a sporting event over there. Like, people will react during your film. If they don't like something, they will actually announce that during the film. If they like something, if there's any cathartic sort of release that they can have during the film, they will express that. Like, it's just a different sort of audience to watch your film with. And there was a lot of energy in our premiere, and the film went down a treat. Like, they laughed in the right moments. They hoot and hollered in the right moments, and it was all sort of very surreal, but no, it definitely went down well. Yeah, working with Bonnie Elliott, the cinematographer on the film, was just amazing. We started working with her on transmission, just like we found Gary. We also found Bonnie, and we'd seen her website and really liked what she was doing, and we just worked really well together on the short, and so it was a no-brainer to bring Bonnie along for the feature, and. It was just lots of fun, like, because we had such a specific color palette in mind. As the movie starts in this sort of yellow glow, then it gets a bit orange, and then towards the end, almost in monochromatic red. That was a very specific thing, even from the script stage. So, working with Bonnie on the feature, we were both very focused on the kind of look from what we were going to get just from the script. But then she took it, she took it into another stratosphere, and she's just got an amazing eye, and she's just a workhorse, and she just wants to get the best result for your film. And 25-day shoot, we had no time, to screw around, and no real safety net, and trying to authentically portray some sense of the apocalypse for a relatively low budget and over only 25 days. Like, everyone needed to be on the A game, and without someone like Bonnie, that would have been a big struggle. But she's just an amazing talent, and the film looks and feels the way it does in many ways because of her hard work. We shot around the full gamut of Perth. Where did we shoot? We shot from the Malaga area to Dianella to Point Perrin. We went up to Lancelin and shot some stuff that never made it into the movie. We shot in and around industrial suburbs and nicer suburbs and McMansion suburbs and rundown suburbs. We were in Girraween at one point, Bassendean. Like, it seemed like every day we were in a completely different section of Perth. But I feel like I also. But the great thing about that was I even as a script, like, I didn't want to set it in Nowheresville. I wanted to say, no, this is Perth. Any moment we had a chance to sort of highlight that, or have a reference to Perth, or show a landmark, like the King Neptune statue that's in ruins now. Anytime we could do that, it was just lots of fun, and I think that's what the crew also got a real buzz out of that as well. Like, they were working so hard, but everyone was really passionate about telling this kind of story in a place that they hadn't seen it done before in their own backyard, Perth. So we shot on the Arri Alexa, and myself and Bonnie had a very clear decision early on to use the Alexa. We considered using the Red, but just that extra filmic look and the way it shoots in low light as well, that was definitely what got it over the finish line. if we had to, we would have shot it on a 5D. We would have shot it on a phone if we had to. We just wanted to tell this story, and we were just lucky that we could just afford to, get the camera that we wanted, which was the Arri Alexa. But no, I think everything goes hand in hand with each other. Like the image from the page, the image, everything is just always a swirling state of chaos. But they always go hand in hand with each other. Well, in this case, this was by far the most experienced group of actors I've ever had the chance to work with, and that definitely makes you raise your game, but also makes your job a lot easier because you're entrusting them and they're entrusting in you, and it was really just about not trying to overcook the script too much. Like, we didn't have a lot of rehearsal time. The most amount of rehearsal time we had was with Nathan and Angari. But that was mostly just getting lunch together and running through the scene a couple of times and talking about the scene. But I definitely didn't want to overcook anything between any of the actors, and sort of just left all that for the shoot days. And what can I say? Like, this was, I'm still pinching myself that I was able to work with this talented cast. Like, even to have like people in smaller roles, like Dan Henschel and Sarah Snook, like being on set for just a couple of days. Like, amazing actors like that. Like, the fact that they read the script and said, no, this is something that, I want to be involved in was amazing. Everything happened for a reason on this film, and like I said before, making a short film with Angari, where she was the star of the show in Transmission, we myself and Liz, the producer, we managed to get a lot of trust out of that, especially with her parents. And then when you give them a script called These Final Hours and some of the things she has to experience during it, if we didn't have that trust already inbuilt and a great relationship with her and her parents, it would have been really tricky. But she's just so mature and such a level-headed girl, and that all comes from her parents as well. It just made life easy, and we never made anything of Rose has to walk past an orgy, Rose has to see Russian roulette, Rose has to see all these crazy things, and if we didn't make a big deal out of it, she wasn't worried about it. For her, it's just all part of the job. It's like a game, like she gets it. Like, this is going on here and that's going on there. Okay. And then there was Nathan, who was just so amazing with her. And if we had have had an actor, a lead actor that didn't get on with kids and wasn't really there for them and wanted to be alone, then that would have really, really also made everyone's life hard. But they got on like a house on fire. And if he wasn't there to help support her through her first feature film, these things would have been tricky, and those things translate onto the screen as well. Throwing her into the into the deep end was only achievable through all those things that had already gone into building up that moment and building a lot of trust with her. For me, the most important thing, even getting through a day on set, is just that just collaborating in the right way. And I'm not a cinematographer, I'm not an editor, I'm not a first AD, I'm not this, I'm not that. So entrusting in people and, not being the sole person in charge in many ways, like everything that I want being filtered through those people and not sort of telling them what to do, but having already had those conversations before we even get to set, in pre-production, just being very collaborative. Like, I feel like that's the only way you get new ideas into your script so it doesn't get stale, and just to keep things real and moving and energetic, and being willing to to mix things up during a shoot day if you have to, thinking on your feet. I mean, anything can go wrong at any given second when you're out there on the battlefield. The thing I enjoy the most out of it is the collaborating with the actors, collaborating with the technicians, collaborating with cinematographers, and then in the edit, again, collaborating with the editor and really having many conversations and trying things out, that's the thrill that I get out of it. You need a good producer, especially on your first, funded film, like where everything's done legit. Like, you need a really good producer and someone who's as passionate about the project as you. And again, everything happens for a reason. And I'm just glad that I got to make this film with someone like Liz, who I respect, and we have the same tastes. And this was as much a journey for her as it was for me. And it was a very, very 50-50 partnership all the way through. The biggest challenge, I think, really was the shoot itself, 25 days, and trying to pull off what we were, the end of the world, on a pretty small budget for these kinds of films. That was not easy, and everyone was really pushed to their limits. But in saying that, like, people really brought their A game as well. So I think that just the amount of time we didn't have to make. I mean, no matter what you're making, I think that you just never have enough time. No matter what it is, there's never enough money and there's never enough time. So that's always a challenge. And then I would also then say in the edit, like, just trying to figure out the best way into the movie, and then just leaving ideas that maybe I had, really overprotected and really close to my heart, like, and just opening my mind up to new possibilities with the film and how to tell what we now had. That was a really massive collaboration, but that also took its time, and we had to trust our instincts for things that we wanted to hold on to and things that we needed to let go. Day one, shot one of the shoot, it started raining. You've seen the film, it's supposed to be one of the hottest days on earth and everything's sun-scorched. It started raining, like before we've even rolled yet. Those things do make you just think, oh, really? Are we gonna really be up against this sort of thing? And then it was, it's Perth. The rain clears, the sun comes out, and 3 hours later, you're making your movie. Like you're already a few shots in, and you're moving over to the next location. It was, you just have to roll with the punches. So we were very lucky that the film was funded. The first pot of money we had was from Screen West Coast Vision scheme, and then that was matched by Screen Australia. The Melbourne Film Festival also gave us some money, and then those are pretty much the three investors, and we also had the tax offset, which is a great thing, and before we knew it, we had just enough money to try to make the film. The wrap party. Yeah. Just knowing that we'd survived the shoot, that we had it in the can, that was a good feeling. But there's just many just seeing like a just seeing a scene come together. On set, like just seeing the actors say your words, and giving them meaning and taking them in new directions. Like these things that that's taken you so long to finally realize when they happen before your eyes. Like it's an amazing feeling, and to have actors that read your words and then go, this means something to me, and this is how I'm going to do it, and just those sort of things that don't happen every day. Those were things that I savored from the actual shoot. Just then finishing the movie completely, like that is a very, very good feeling, and the fact that then people responded the way they did, that was even better. Well, once I finished my film degree at Curtin from about 2004 to about probably 2010. As I said, I was shipping away, making some short films and also some backyard features. I ended up doing 3 of them, and those were with some really, really good friends. And we just all wanted to make films, and that was a big part of the learning experiences. The learning experience for me as well was making longer form things for the smell of an oily rag, and just sort of figuring out what it is to tell a long form tale. Well, when I was doing my honours at Curtin, me and Anthony Webb, who ended up producing and editing and shooting my very first backyard feature, The Actress, for us it was just about, we have nothing to lose, we've got a bit of time, we're both waiting to start our honours degree. We decided to just get some Hayman Theatre actors together and go and make a film that was based on a script that my friend and that myself and my friend Steve McCall had written. It was like a 3-man crew, literally, and we just spent like probably about 2 or 3 months whenever anyone was available in this house shooting the film, and that was a really interesting experience, especially when we then ended up traveling with the film to some festivals and just seeing your work for the first time, watched by people in America. It was just very bizarre and a very different thing for us at the time. And it's subconsciously it instills a lot in you but in terms of knowing like when to go from shorts to features, I mean, everything's so different for each person's circumstances. Like some people can make one short and then get their film up and off they go. They never look back. But yeah, like I enjoy going between backyard features and funded or non-funded shorts and back again through that whole university to 2010 period. The film opened in Australia, and we've sold to a whole bunch of territories around the world. We recently opened in Canada. We'll be opening in the US at the start of next year. We've got Italy and Spain and France and Belgium. Like I recently went to Spain and Belgium for the Sitges Film Festival and the Ghent Film Festival. And it's always just interesting watching the film with a completely different culture and a completely different audience and their take on it. Like in Spain, it was like Khan on steroids. Like they just will react to any moment that you give them a chance to in the screening, which was bizarre. Whereas in Belgium, everyone's really reserved. Like everyone sort of like just holds all their cards close to their chest, and they'll come up to you after the film when no one's around and like tell you that they liked it or what they thought of it, but they don't want to react during the film really too much. And even during the Q&As in Belgium, it's interesting. Like they're kind of reserved with their questions, and so it's just interesting to even just watch the film with a French audience, to a Spanish audience, and then in Belgium it was very interesting. There's no real plan with the film. It's sort of out there. The film will be coming out on DVD in Australia December, I think, and yeah, it's sort of done its thing, and it's onto the next thing. Making this film has opened up a lot of doors. Since making it, I've got an Australian agent, an American agent, and an American manager, and I'm reading a lot of scripts, but I'm also, more importantly, writing as much as I can as well. And I'm currently writing 2 projects. One isn't a sci-fi film at all, and the other one is. And I'm just sort of figuring out what the next film should be, and hopefully I'll be able to get one up sooner rather than later. I wouldn't really go back and change a thing. Like, I'm pretty happy with how the film turned out. It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of hard slog, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears from myself and a lot of other people. I'm happy with where it is, and yeah, it stands there as a thing that I did. And now it's time to move on to some more stuff. These Final Hours is one of the very first gigs I've even had where, I got to work with people at such a high level who are professionals, who do this for a living. I was just sort of along for the ride, and myself and Liz purposely went out of our way to make sure we were the noobs on set. Like everyone had to be more experienced than us, and that's exactly what we did, in whatever position we could. So yeah, like my survival was just surrounding myself by very talented people. Again, it's just that thing about perseverance. I mean, it's so competitive out there, and just try to make your script different. What's your point of difference with your project? We were just lucky that at the right time, at the right place, for some reason, people said yes to a film about the last day on Earth, where we follow one character. But again, it's also that old adage of no one knows anything, and you just got to roll with the punches. I mean, I've been there with projects that have gotten close to funding, and then they've fallen by the wayside because there just wasn't enough substance there, or it's also about putting that ladder up against the right wall. Sometimes you can get to a certain level on the ladder, but you realized I put it up on the wrong wall, and that's happened to me many times with particular projects. So with these Final Hours, it felt like all the planets aligned, and the right people saw the script at the right time and gave me the right advice, and the rest was history. We managed to get enough money. In terms of Australia, well, move to WA, Screen West. They're very supportive, and we give away $750,000 a year towards a feature film, and that's amazing. It gives you such a leg up, towards your film. I would take that $10 million and shoot that documentary on my phone. I've always thought about doing, and not really ever show anyone where the money went. You know what I'm saying? But no, what I would do is I would fund. I'm currently writing something, and boy, would $10 million go a long way. Boy, would it go a long way. I would fund my own film. Bang, like that.